Hello, everybody. Welcome again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on where you join us. Thank you again. This time we will talk about research with AI. Actually, my dear colleague Ipek did a great job, like with teaching with AI. So hopefully I will do the same, and I will share some knowledge and my own experience with you, how I am using AI when it comes to research. So let me share my screen. I think you can see my screen, but I think I need to make it like full screen. So is it actually visible? I don't know because
it shows the presentation view. Oh, right now it's okay. Yes.
you see the screen, right?
Yes.
One moment. And I don't know what's wrong, but I need to.
I think, Sedan, it's your internet connection. It's a little bit.
I think, yeah, I think it's about my internet connection. Yeah, I think so. I don't know what's wrong, but I am
Yeah,
going
keep.
to. I will just. I think this should be like. Okay. Okay. I think now it's fine.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, again. Now I will talk about research with AI, and I will try to share some ideas with you, some tools with you. We are going to explore how AI actually is shaping the research. And it's not about cool tools because AI is really cool. It's about how AI fits into our work as scholar, and how we can use it responsibly and how to avoid pitfalls. Think of AI as co-pilot. Okay, it helps, but you are still flying the plane. You are the pilot. By the end of this session, hopefully you'll know how to use AI to boost your research and stay within the ethical boundaries. Here is our roadmap. First, we'll look into why AI matters so much right now, and we'll take a quick tour through its history in academia. Then we'll explore how it fits into each stage of research, from brainstorming to dissemination. And along the way, I will try to introduce some tools, share some case studies, and try to teach you how to craft good prompts. We'll also discuss what bad prompts look like, and maybe you can share your own experience by putting your messages in the chat box. And finally, we'll look into some ethics and publisher policies, and wrap up with presentation together. So the goal of this presentation, the goal of this workshop, by the end, you'll feel confident, hopefully, and prepared to use AI responsibly. So let's update the picture with what's happening right now. We are living in artificial intelligence era. In fact, my colleague before me talked about what generative AI, what artificial intelligence are. So I will not repeat what she already mentioned, but especially around the language learning, large language learning models, generative AI like ChatGPT and Gemini and Copilot and XAI and related tools. So surveys show that in 2025 show that I think I still have internet issue. Can you see my screen, Ipek? Ipek, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. I can see it.
Okay, so internet, I'm sorry, there was an internet problem, but now it's back. Thank you so much, Ipek. So surveys in 2025 that shows that actually a very high level of student adoption of generative AI. And among AI usage among United Kingdom university students actually jumped from about 66% in 2024 to 92% in 2025. And similar reports show that 88% of students are now using any kind of generative AI for assessment-related tasks. For example, summarizing articles, explaining concepts, generating ideas. And that's up to significantly around 53% a year earlier. And another study, especially a selective US college, found that over 80% of students have adopted generative AI academically within 2 years. And then Google's Gemini for education is making major improvements. Right now, over 1,000 institutions in the US have adopted, and 10 million plus students are using it. And of course, there are differences in how people are using these tools. Some students are more into ChatGPT, and some others are using like Microsoft Copilot or others. But this also depends on the institutional subscription. So what does that mean? Actually, generative AI, which is large language models, are not on the horizon. They are already here and deeply embedded in student and academic experience. Because usage is so widespread, there is growing pressure on institutions to put in place clear policies, trainings, and ethic guidance. And the variations of how often and for what task people use generative AI highlight that the quality of use matters. And not only quality, but also, of course, academic integrity. Let's rewind back. In the 1960s, we had expert systems like Eliza that mimicked conversations. And in 1990s, machine learning helped us find some patterns in big data sets. And by the 2010s, deep learning gave us image recognition and advanced NLP. And 2020s came generative AI, tools like GPT and Gemini. They are actually creating. So here is Stanford's 2025 index. 90% of cutting-edge models come from universities. So AI is still producing the cited research, but the tools are increasingly controlled by technology companies. As we are as researchers, we have to stay critical and asking what data was used, who trained the model, and what stuff it had. And the real shift actually is from analyzing to creating. Older AI told us what was in the data, but now generative AI produces new content and text and images, even code. That's pretty exciting, but also it's very risky because AI can hallucinate, confidently producing wrong or made up information. even references, right? I'm sure you have already experienced that. And that's why our role as researchers is more important than ever. We need to fact check, verify, apply theory and context. We need to validate. And think of it's like a research assistant for you, which is helpful, but also you want at universities, of course, AI is everywhere. It's everywhere. And, the survey says that 80% of students in general are using AI, including, of course, undergraduate students. And faculty adoption is a little bit slower because of worries about plagiarism, bias, and academic standards. But on the other side, there are some policies are catching up. UNESCO, for example, says transparency must be the central of the policy. And publishers like Elsevier, Springer now require disclosure of AI usage. So the message actually is clear. Using AI is fine as long as you are transparent. Hidden use is kind of misconduct. So now let's map the research workflow. So AI can help with idea generation, brainstorming questions, or spotting connections. It can support literature reviews, clustering, and summarizing, though you still need to synthesize. It can suggest methods like drafting survey items or interview questions or experiment design, experiment scenarios. And it can assist with analysis, code generation, visualization, and it can help with polishing the entire text. And also it can support with dissemination and creating summaries or posters. But what we always have to remember that AI is co-pilot. We are the pilot and we are flying the plane. So AI-engaged publications are booming right now, and the adoption, on the other hand, is not equal. Senior researchers and interestingly, women tend to use AI less, and the reason is due to the reason is lack of training or trust. Idea generation stage is actually where AI shines. For example, suggest 5 research questions about AI adoption in marketing. By giving this prompt, you'll get a range to refine. And as a researcher, our role is check feasibility, connect it to theory, and align with methods we can actually execute. You can ask AI concentrating perspectives to broaden your horizon. Literature review, there are tools like Elicit, research rabbits, Slide AI. Tools can summarize papers, map citations, and highlight gaps. This sounds really cool, right? This sounds really powerful, but we need to be cautious. 2025 life science article showed that it often oversimplifies, skipping limitations. So we should just be careful about copying and pasting, which never do as researchers, and we always ask the students not to do the same. So don't just copy the summaries. Always read the original papers and synthesize critically. So when you upload, for example, an article to AI, summary is amazing. The response comes to you like in seconds, but we always need to read the article and synthesize by ourselves and then compare it or combine it with what AI actually provides. And AI can put the right neighborhood, but we still have to not dominate. So be cautious. And on the other side, AI can ask survey questions, identify control errors, for example, or suggest experiments and write your scenarios for the experiments. For example, suggest 5 survey items measuring trust in AI tools. Very handy. I mean, they're all handy, but remember, surveys need validation, and always we need to use validated, reliable survey items, measurement items, and scales. And interviews needs although the human-related research interviews need approval, and experiments need design rigor. So AI give us a draft, but we actually have to do the scholarly heavy lifting. When it comes to data analysis with AI, actually AI and LLM generate code for Python or SPSS. You can easily ask AI write Python code to calculate from alpha. Time saver. AI code isn't always correct. So always test it, debug it, and compare against known results. Always get validation. And AI also suggests statistical measures. We have to decide which one actually fits our research design and our theory. And writing and editing. AI tools like Grammarly or Claude or Papercall or Trinka can actually polish your writing, and they can fix grammar problems, grammatical issues, adjust the tone, and help with flow. But AI should be the editor, not the author. So ghostwriting is plagiarism. That's why I use AI to make your ideas clearer, not to create them for you. Okay. And once you're done with the work, AI can help tailor it, and it can summarize your abstract for high school audience, for example, draft talking points for a presentation, or create a plain language summary for LinkedIn. So that's very valuable for outreach, but always check the message before sharing, because you are the final voice of your research. So now let's broaden the lens and talk about AI tools for researchers. The AI generally fall into 5 couple of categories, but recently we have also seen like rise of language learning models and generative AI platforms that are reshaping this landscape. So there are main buckets for you, like large language models and generative AI platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or Perplexity are already part of many researchers' workflow. We all already know that. They are great for drafting, brainstorming, summarizing, and explaining complex ideas in plain language. And each has different strengths. For example, ChatGPT is style and widely adopted and has plugins for research workflows. But Gemini, on the other hand, integrates with Google tools and Excel at multiple costs. Cloud, on the other side, is for long context handling. You can upload entire papers and data sets and have it be processed. Perplexity AI emphasizes answers within linked citations, which is actually particularly useful for avoiding hallucinations. And Grok by XAI is a newer compared to GPT, but focuses on conversational reasoning and real-time data integration. So key here that these models can accelerate work, yes, human oversight. So there are assistants, again, no author. If you want to like discovery or literature review, tools like Elicit, Researcher, and Cite AI, they specialize in finding and structuring sources for you. Cite actually even shows whether a study is being supported or challenged by a later work. When it comes to writing, Grammarly, PaperPal, Trika, Quillbot, they have improved clarity, tone, and flow. And unlike language models are narrower but safe for polishing language. When it comes to data visualization, AI increasingly embedded in platforms like Tableau or also generates Python barcode. And some large models generate annotated scripts in coding actionable. Reference Zotero and Note now have AI-powered plugins that suggest related work. So Cite AI helps evaluate citation context to prevent misrepresentation. And there are also collaboration and productivity tools like Notion AI, Slack GPT, and Microsoft Pilot. Those are summarizing meetings and generate task lists and support project management. So when we talk about AI tools today, it's no longer just plugins. We're talking about general purpose platforms like ChatGPT and now becoming standard as a web browser. The rule of is simple. Actually, use tools for structured academic tasks like references or literature, and use large language models for brainstorming, drafting, explanations, and you can always combine them with your expertise and verifications, of course. Maybe you can type in the chat which of these tools you have tried so far. Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and maybe you can share your own experience with us and we can share them at the end of the presentation. So here I would like to talk about like 3 case studies. The first one is review. A PhD student recently had to do a literature review on AI adoption higher education. Let's assume. And normally, this literature review might take 2 to 3 months, right? Of digging, finding the correct articles, reading them, organizing them. Instead, this student used Elicit to gather around 120, 120 abstracts in a matter of days. But here is the key. Let me give you the key. Students didn't stop at summaries. They asked Elicit to list the theories and limitations noted for each study. So that gave the student structured way to patterns quickly, and the student then selected top 30 papers to read fully, and wrote their own synthesis and documented how AI was used. What would have taken months actually now take only weeks, right? But the intellectual lifting was still ours. So what is the lesson here? AI can accelerate the gathering and organizing stage, but critical synthesis is human work. So that's the difference between using AI responsibly and outsourcing our scholarship. The second case study about humanities scholar, A scholar, let's assume a scholar studying AI anxiety in classrooms, and they have dozens of interview transcripts. Instead of coding everything manually from scratch, the scholar asked ChatGPT to propose themes from small experts. The AI suggests categories like loss of control, trust issues, concern about bias. But the scholar, of course, doesn't take those at face value. They compare their own theoretical categories and scholars judgment. I think there's a problem with the internet, right? Can you hear me? Ipek, can you hear me?
I think there's an internet issue. Would you like to try to connect to your phone internet or something? I don't know. I don't know which internet you are, but
I am actually connected to a strong Wi-Fi, but let me try to connect my own internet.
Let's try another one. Let's see. I don't know, because it's not very easily issue that we can solve, but you can try it.
Okay, of course. I can try my own internet on, let me see. I mean, it shows strong connection now, but still sometimes it has issues. I'm gonna read this presentation just in case, because I see there are some comments.
Maybe what we can do, Sedan, I don't know if she agrees, of course, I don't want to promise, but maybe she can record.
Is it better now?
I think it's better. We can try it. I don't know, because once you start to present, it might go again. But this is a very interesting presentation.
Okay.
I think, Sedan, though, we missed a little bit most part of it. So, I mean, I don't know if you would agree, but it would be nice if you can record this again for us. I mean, continue today. I think this internet might be better, but for our reviewers, the people who are viewing, we are very interested in it. I think we might have missed some important parts, and I want to listen again, honestly. Let's continue.
Okay.
And let's see this, try this one. And okay.
Thank you. For the audience, I will record this presentation from scratch and share it with you because the internet problem. Okay, let's continue with the third case study. It's actually an example from STEM. So let's assume that a researcher is working with large data sets, use AI to generate Python scripts for cleaning the data and handling values, outlier, and formatting, and that's the base groundwork. But again, this is very important. So this research, every single line of code, rerun the test, and make corrections, because they need to ask AI to suggest visualization, like scatter plots with regression lines and pre or post intervention comparisons, and they choose which are statistically appropriate and align with a hypothesis. So this research team's mantra is AI can propose, humans dissolve. So they at the end they will document the AI's role in their lab notes, so their process was reproducible. So what is the lesson here? In data-heavy fields, AI is a powerful technical assistant, but if you don't validate outputs, you can risk errors and that undermine your credibility. So as my colleague Ipek mentioned in the previous presentation, prompt engineering is very important. Prompting is basically the art of asking the right question in the right way. If you have ever supervised student assistant or with your colleague, I'm sure you know that vague instructions lead to vague results. So the same applies here with LLM. So I like to introduce you to 5-part framework: role, task, context, format, and examples. So what are these and what do they mean? So role means actually what you are going to tell AI who it should pretend to be. For example, you are a qualitative research mentor. So this sets the perspective and style of the answer. Task, on the other hand, the thing that you will be clear what you want, not just happy with interviews, okay? But draft 6 open-ended interview questions to ask human resources. Specificity really matters. And the third one is context. You should add details like your discipline, setting, or constraint. Like for higher education students, focusing on equity keeps the output relevant. The fourth one is for tell AI how to present the answer. Do you want a table, bullet points, a step-by-step plan? So the more precise, the easier it is to use. And last one is examples. If you have a model answer or want to guide the style, include one. For example, here's one question I drafted. Give me 5 more in a similar style. So examples will always help AI to give you better results. So let's put it all together, okay? And then you can also try it with your own AI. The role is you are a qualitative research mentor. The task is draft 6 open-ended interview questions about students' trust in AI. And your context is higher education, ethics, avoid leading language, and format numbered list with 1-line rationale for each question. And just push the enter button. So you will not believe how powerful and amazing response you will get, because you are very detailed oriented. You gave really detailed instructions. So instead of a generic hit or miss output, you are getting structure, context aware, and academically usable suggestions. And there is another key for you. Prompt engineering isn't just a technical trick. It is actually an ethical practice. So by being specific about role, context, and expectations, you reduce the risk of hallucination, you reduce the risk of bias or irrelevant stuff. So you are also making it very clear that AI is scaffolding your work, not doing it for you. So think of prompting as part of your research skill set. The better you get at writing prompts, the better you'll be using AI responsibly and effectively. So think of prompts that, think of prompts as the question you pose to a research assistant, okay? So if you give sloppy instructions, you'll get sloppy results. So if you ask something unethical, you'll get to work you can't legitimately use, right? Or on the other hand, if you ask carefully and responsibly, you'll get useful input that you can verify and build upon. So here is the problem. Many people still ask AI to do things that cross ethical lines. So let's talk about some comparisons, okay? A bad prompt, okay? Write my entire literature review for me. That's an unethical request because actually you are outsourcing original thinking. A good prompt would be summarize 3 peer-reviewed studies on AI in higher education since 2020 and list their limitations so I can follow up. So notice the difference, okay? The second one supports your work, but you still do the synthesis. Another bad prompt. Invent references that support this claim. So this leads to fabricated citations, which is a major problem in our academia and a major integrity violation. So the good prompt would be suggest peer-reviewed sources with DOI numbers that discuss this claim. And then you can check that source results, like sources that have been provided by AI, if they actually exist in Google Scholar or any other library database. Another bad prompt. Do my statistics and give me results. So that's very dangerous because it bypasses your own analysis, right? So good prompt would be outline the steps for running a mediation analysis in SPSS and explain common pitfalls. So that way, you are learning and running the analysis by yourself, right? So the theme here is clear. Bad prompts are source thinking, hide work, and invent misconduct. Good prompts scaffold your process, give you starting points, and keep you in control of intellectual labor. And let me emphasize this. This is very important. Journals and universities don't object to AI when it's used for supportive roles like clarity, brainstorming, or drafting practice questions. What they object to is when AI is used for substitution. So when it replaces your own reasoning or fabricated information, then it's not acceptable. So when you are crafting prompts, ask yourself, does this help me think better? Does it try to think for me? So if it is the former, you are in the green zone. If it is in the latter, you are drifting into yellow or red territory. So I'll repeat. Does this help me think better, or does it try to think for me? Okay, see the difference. Let's do a prompt refinement demo, okay? So the weak prompt is explain AI in education. Very generic, right? Refined one is summarize 3 peer-reviewed studies since 2020 on AI in higher education, each with noted limitations. So specific, useful. So prompt design shapes academic utility and ethical validity. So let's get practical now, okay? I have some prompt bank for you for different stages of research. But the idea here is not that AI writes your paper, but that helps you get unstuck and save time and actually widen your perspective. So we have a golden rule, okay? These prompts are assistive. They help you think better. They don't do the thinking for you, all right? So when you use them, always plan to verify the results, cross-check the sources, and rewrite outputs in your own scholarly voice. Use your own scholarly voice. So here I will walk with you through the prompts, okay? So one moment, I think okay. So I will walk with you, walk through prompts for idea generation, literature review, methodology and data analysis, writing, ethics, and dissemination, okay? Let's start with idea generation. I will give you some examples. These prompts are actually designed to help you spark questions and broaden your scope. For example, propose 5 research questions on students' trust in AI in higher education, including one contrarian question. So this will help you see mainstream and alternative directions. Another prompt. You see different prompts on screen. Suggest 3 interdisciplinary angles connecting AI ethics with sustainability in tourism research. This is also about crossing boundaries. And list 5 understudied population affected by AI adopted in hospitality. With this request, AI will help you highlight inclusivity. So notice that in each case, AI is surfacing options. You are still the one who evaluates, prioritizes, and ties them in theory. All right. And next one is literature review, probably where most of us feel buried, right? AI cannot do the synthesis for us, but it can make the search and organization much easier. For example, create a table with author, year, setting, sample, method, findings, limitations for the uploaded 3 papers, because you upload the papers. That's structure, not ghostwriting, okay? The other one is map 3 recurring debates in AI in higher education and cite real recent papers for each. Now you will see the bigger picture, okay? And the other one might be summarize differences between AI adoption in hospitality versus healthcare, including 1 limitation per domain. So that will be a comparative insight for you. So here you will actually have AI that acts like a research assistant who organizes your notes, but you will write the narrative, okay? And methodology. This is where prompts can save huge amount of time, but also where ethical boundaries matter the most. So draft 6 survey items for perceived usefulness of AI. Avoid double-barreled wording. You can then check those items with validated scales. And suggest 5 semi-structured interview questions about AI anxiety and add a rationale. So this will also give you an insight, give you an idea, but at the end, you still have to validate what AI gives you. For data analysis, for example, write annotated Python to compute Cronbach alphas and interpret thresholds, or explain mediation setup in SPSS step by step with common pitfalls. So in that case, you will learn how to conduct a mediation setup in SPSS by yourself. And we are actually asking plans, explanations, and annotated code, not the final results to copy and paste. So that way you are still learning, running, and validating the actual data. Writing and ethics prompts are about polishing the work we do while keeping the integrity intact. So improve the clarity for this paragraph, maintain meaning, and discipline-specific terminology. Again, you have to read it by yourself again, and you have to make it your own scholarly work. Or suggest 3 alternative titles for this study: formal, descriptive, and practitioner-friendly. So whatever AI gives you as the title alternatives, you can just play with them, right? And on the other side, ethical prompts. For example, draft a disclosure statement describing AI's role in improving clarity suitable for a method section. So nowadays, most of the publishers are asking AI disclosure about how you use AI, right? So you can easily draft one disclosure for you. And in that case, you will still be in the green zone, supportive, transparent, and you acknowledge the disclosed use. And finally, dissemination. Here, AI can help you reach wider audiences without dumbing down your work. Prompts like rewrite my abstract at a 10th grade reading level, preserving accuracy. So Ipek actually mentioned that she did a presentation to 12K, so she had to reduce the tone. So this is also another way to get help from AI. Or draft a 150-word LinkedIn summary highlighting the practical implications of my study. So it will give you an engaging and catchy LinkedIn post. You can easily post it with citing or tagging your co-authors. Or propose 3 poster headlines that are accurate and engaging. Maybe you're going to present it in a conference, you're going to do a poster presentation. So this is also another way. So these are about translation, not transformation, actually. They make your research accessible without changing any findings of yours. And here, I think we need to take a pause and talk about ethics. Because one way to think about AI ethics in research is with a traffic light mode, right? Traffic lights, red, yellow, and green. So red zone means stop. These are clearly unethical issues, that means. So letting AI go right for you. Fabricating data or fabricating citations, or misrepresenting sources. So if you find yourself asking, should I disclose this? You are probably already in the red zone. So these practices violate not only academic integrity, but also publisher policies. So how about yellow zone then? This is the caution area, okay? This is when you may be overlying on AI or not engaging deeply enough with the content it produces. So for example, if you accept an AI summary without checking the original article, you are not technically fabricating, but you are skipping the critical evaluation that makes scholarship rigorous. So yellow means you need to slow down, double check, and make sure you are still applying your expertise. And green zone is where we want to be. In green zone, AI is used transparently and responsibly. Maybe it helped you generate initial survey questions or suggested some edits for clarity in your writing. The key difference is that you verified the results, made the intellectual decisions, and disclosed whichever tool you used, the tool's role in your process. So green zone actually green zone use enhances your work without compromising integrity. Now I would like to talk about multidimensional ethical AI adoption model. Usually, I mean, there are different sources, but usually this model identifies 4 pillars of ethical AI used in academia. The first one is fair AI. Fair AI, ensuring that AI does not reinforce bias or exclude certain groups. The responsible AI, using it with accountability, meaning you can explain how and why it was applied. Explainable AI, you should be able to interpret the outputs, not just accept them blindly. And sustainable AI, thinking about long-term implications, from environmental cost of AI systems to how sustainable it is for students or faculty to rely on them. Again, I would like to go back to what my colleague Ipek mentioned. Some students don't want to use AI because of the environmental impacts. So if we combine here the traffic lights with these 4 pillars like fair AI, responsible AI, explainable AI, and sustainable AI, we get a strong framework for judgment. The green light isn't just about transparency, it is also about fairness, responsibility, explainability, and sustainability. Of course, when we talk about research, we should talk about publishers and universities, because they have different AI policies. The short version, policies are rapidly evolving, but they all point in the same direction, actually. AI is allowed as long as it is disclosed and used responsibly, okay? Elsevier updated the policy in 2025. They state that AI tools can be used to improve clarity, language, or even suggest references, but there are 2 rules. First, AI cannot be listed as co-author or second author or corresponding author. And then you must disclose how you use AI. For example, in the methods section, you might say, we use ChatGPT to improve grammar and clarity in selected section of this manuscript, or maybe at the end, an acknowledgement. The other one is Wiley and Springer Nature have nearly identical policies, like 2 of them. They emphasizes that AI cannot replace authorship and that any use must be documented transparently, so you have to disclose. And Wiley and Springer Nature actually provide standard disclosure statements. You can easily copy and paste. You can easily use them. American Psychological Association, which is APA, starting in 2023, they required authors to clearly describe AI assistance. I mean, they even caution that if an AI-generated references is in the paper, you have to remove it, absolutely. And you have to double check every single reference. You have to cross-check every single reference with the citation, and you have to check every single reference in terms of reality, if it is a real reference, and retrievable. So the reason is that fabricated citations are considered misconduct. And universities are aligning too, actually. Harvard's 2024 guidance warns everybody, including researchers and students and academics, not to upload confidential or sensitive data into third-party AI tools. That includes student records, interview transcripts, unpublished manuscripts. And at many institutions, misuse of AI can fall under academic misconduct, just like plagiarism. Actually, again, my colleague Ipek mentioned that uploading some documents can cause some problems, like sharing personal information, like student information with AI. So we have to be careful. So what does this mean for us in practice? Maybe we can come up with like 3 golden rules. No AI authorship, right? Authors must be humans. AI is just a tool, not a colleague. The second golden rule is disclosure is non-negotiable. Always explain how you use AI. If it helped with grammar, say so. If it drafted code you later validated, say so. And the third golden rule is responsibility remains with you. So you are accountable for errors, biases, or fabricated content, even if it came from AI. So you are going to be accountable for any kind of errors. So let me give you a practical tip. Start building a habit of writing down your AI use as you go. I mean, keep a line in your research journal like, I used Cite AI to check citation context for 5 articles on September 16. So later, when you are drafting your methods, you can just go back and you will have a clear record. I mean, if you are in doubt, disclose, disclose, disclose. So this is the safest zone. Journals and universities are not banning AI, but they are actually demanding transparency, which is very fair, right? And the more open you are, the stronger your integrity and credibility as a researcher. Okay, so ask yourself, am I transparent about tool use? Any AI tool use? Does this preserve originality or rigor? Would I disclose this in this at least published version? If the answer is yes, you are aligned with integrity. So if no, reconsider. Okay. What are the key takeaways from this presentation? I mean, remember, AI supports but does not replace research, does not replace researcher. So in the end, it is you. And quality of prompts drives quality of output. Don't give generic outputs. Be specific. Be as detailed as possible. Be as specific as possible. And then integrity and disclosure are essential. Going back to the beginning of presentation, AI is co-pilot, not a substitute. You are flying plane. And I actually AI generate this code. AI won't replace researchers, but researchers who use AI responsibly may outpace those who won't. So here is the challenge. Integrate AI where helpful, but draw firm ethical boundaries. Okay, this is all about my presentation. I actually did a little bit faster because of the internet problem, and I will actually do it again. I will record it again for everybody. But thank you for joining us. Let's go back to Ipek. So Ipek, how about the last part? The connection was better?
Yes, and thank you very much. It was a great presentation. Like, I learned a lot. And yes, after you switched the internet, it got better and we were able to listen to you. But I think the first part, our viewers might want to listen again because it was really interesting, where you talked about different AI tools that we can use to do that can help with our research. And I just have a question actually. Um, is there any publication, a journal that actually suggest AI usage? They support AI usage. If you mentioned and I didn't hear, I'm sorry, but
No, I didn't mention actually. There is a journal in our, not in our field, but in technology field. Maybe audience know them. Professor Stanislav Ivanov is the editor in chief of Robonomics, Journal of Robonomics, and they accept papers 90% generated by AI. I mean, even like analysis, results, methodology, everything. So there is that they have a specific section for those type of AI generated papers. So they encourage you to use AI to write the entire paper. So because the reason they are doing it to show everybody how AI is actually mimicking human capital, and how AI actually hallucinating and creating, generating references and citations. So there's this one journal, yeah.
interesting. And have you ever used these tools that actually, have you ever published in a journal or published a paper that actually you got help from AI? Just
Yes,
one.
I mean, yes. Not, I didn't publish yet, but they are, a couple of my papers are under review right now. I specifically had acknowledgement that I worked with ChatGPT to polish the language, because English is not my first language. So
Yes.
English is my second language, and yes, I can write in English. I can write the manuscript, but I usually do either grammatical errors or typos. So I ask AI to polish my writings, and sometimes even like there are bullet point things converted to paragraphs, but of course I review them and I just don't copy and paste. But yes, and journals are asking you to disclose. So right now, everybody is using AI.
We can ask our audience if they have questions. Please ask. I'm checking it out. We can ask Seden if you have any questions.
Questions? Any? I mean, again, we will record this from scratch.
Yeah. And in terms of literature review, we know that using ChatGPT, it gives you fake references. We know that. Um, but which of these tools that you have tried actually gave you very accurate references for your literature review? Like that you clicked on the suggested references, it directly linked to the exact reference. Which tool is the best, do you think?
I mean, I am using XAI, Grok, and GPT.
Mm.
Both of them are like not really good, but I think Grok is giving you more accurate references than ChatGPT. I think so. I think so. This is my humble observation.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm asking, because you used them during your research, and I was
yes,
wondering which one, because I'm sure you observed which one was the best for you.
I think, right. I mean, generating reference, or like fabricated reference point of view, Grok is better.
Grok is better.
And here we have a question. I see a question here. How can we use AI to identify research gaps? So what I do, let me tell you what I do actually. I go to Web of Science and use some keywords about the idea, about my research idea. Let's say it's about service robots, human robots collaboration in hotel environments. So I'm just making it up. So I put all the keywords on the Web of Science, and I extract the abstracts. Let's say 250 abstracts with all the author details, all the DOIs, and everything. So after extracting those that list, I upload it to AI, and I ask AI to identify research gaps based on 150 abstracts. So this would be a way. And on the other side, if the area of research or topic of research is very narrow, let's say 3D footprinting, for example, you can upload 15 articles in PDF format, and ask AI to come up with research gaps based on those 15 papers. So this is what I do.
Excellent. It certainly reduced the time we used to spend.
Yes.
At least it gives us a guideline, starting point, supports us.
Yes.
Yes, but
yes, 100%.
Do you think, like, for example, in my experience, I cannot really get help from AI in terms of generating a very unique idea. So what is your take on that? Like, usually ideas always belong to me, and when I ask it to come up with ideas, the ideas it comes up with are not very, very satisfying to me. I don't know, but maybe, yeah.
I actually agree with you. When it comes to creative ideas, I use AI to come up with some creative ideas for in-class activities, not like research, because yes, AI is reducing time in terms of like reading all the articles and coming up with research gaps, but it is also limited. So creativity is something belong to humans, not technology, AI. I mean, even if it suggests you like 10 different research gaps, the creativity part is always missing, and that part is coming from you.
Yes, I agree.
Any other questions?
I'm looking, but cannot see anything here.
Okay.
Maybe you have a different view. I don't know.
No. I don't see any other questions either. So thank you everybody for joining us today. The entire day, especially for those who stayed with us entire day. I hope it was very beneficial and useful for you, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And Ipek?
Yes, and if you have any questions, you can always contact us, like Sedan and me. And based on our experiences, we will try to help you in the best way possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye. Have a wonderful rest of the week.